my mom went into labor. We lived on a rural farm in North Dakota, and my dad loaded her into a PA-11 Piper Cub and flew us to the hospital when I was born. They'd had some snow on the ground and the roads weren't very good, and at that time there wasn't a lot of snow removal equipment available, and so the airplane was the quickest way to town. So my first flight was before I was even born.
I like to rebuild the airplanes. We do a lot of low-level type flying, and I enjoy all aspects of it. Get out and fly, and on the cold, nasty winter day, you can come in here and build a wing on a Cub or something. And I just have the passion for aviation. I know I could go do other things, but I've grown up around it my whole life, and I don't want to get out of it.
I didn't even realize that serial number 1 Piper Super Cub existed. Well, one day Kelly out of the blue calls me. We had a rebuilt Super Cub that we had for sale, and he said, "I'd like to talk to you about your Super Cub you got for sale." So we told him, and he said, "Yeah, it's a nice airplane. We'd like to." He said, "Would you take trades?" And I said, "Well, yeah, what do you got?" He said, "Well," it's just an old ratty Cub. And I said, "Well, like a J3?" He said, "No," he said, it's a Super Cub. And he said, I said, "Well, what year is it?" And he said, "Well, it's a 50 model." He said, it's an old Super Cub. In fact, it's the oldest Super Cub." I said, "Well, Kelly," I said, "tell me more about this Super Cub." He said, "Well," he said, "it's serial number 1." And I said, "Really? Do you have any documentation on that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We've got the logbooks and, the 337s and weight and balance, some of that stuff." And, I said, "Well, do you have the original logbook?" He said, "Yeah, I've got the original logbook." So we talked a little bit and said, "I'll call you back." Out of the blue, about February the next year, he calls and says, "Roger, I'm going to sell that airplane." He said, "Do you want it?" Of course, I was real negotiable. I said, "Yeah."
When we were first presented with it, didn't really realize, Super Cub number 1, what we could do with that potential. And the main thing that we wanted for the airplane, and the guy that we got it from, was to restore it to flyaway factory condition. And that was very important to us, just to keep it 100% original, because it's number 1. It was a little bit challenging because to how it exactly was in 1949, 1950. It's yellow, but what kind of yellow? What shade of yellow? It's brown, but what shade of brown? And we put unshielded ignition on it, which isn't the most user-friendly thing, especially using the handheld because it chatters and that, but it's original. Of course, we had to build the ignition harness for it. Can't buy anything like that. That originally had the smooth tread tires. We wanted that again, so we found out a way to have brand new smooth tread tires. Even like the tail wheel, it doesn't work all that great. It's just a steerable tail wheel. You can't make full pivot turns, and you gotta carry it backwards into the hangar. But oh well, it's original. Yeah, we through a lot of research and pictures what we could find, and it'd be like the blue knobs on the control sticks and the throttles, and the carb heat, cabin heat, the unique cream mixture knob, all the cream face gauges with the bevel glass in them. There's pictures of early P-18s where we got a lot of the information. One thing was the decal on the propeller. In the old picture, we could see a little orange dot on it, and of course, we call Cents an Inch and Piper, and a lot of them people wondering what that could have been, and they said, who knows, Piper would use different decals throughout different years, and they'd only run them 2-3 years. And I finally went out in one of our hangars and found a broken prop and drug it out, and sure enough, there's that sticker. we took a picture of it and had that decal reproduced, and then ended up with that sticker. So it's just like the picture.
We were contacted by another organization that they would like to see the airplane rebuilt by summer, and this was in the fall of 2011. The airplane was completely disassembled in October, and we worked day and night for about 7 months, approximately 2,800 hours labor. We had the airplane back together, fresh engine, recovered, new prop, as it sits today. Spent about 2 days rigging it to make sure it was just absolutely right. First flight was totally uneventful. It flew perfectly, and we've never touched the rigging on it since.
Probably the best part is when we're getting close to deadline to go to Oshkosh. We're having some trouble with the exhaust system fitting, and we worked late, and we finally got it fit. We had to cut and modify a little bit, and the next day we ground run the airplane and fired it up, and it run perfect. And a couple days later, went and flew it, and it flew perfect. We didn't have to rig it. We didn't have any oil leaks, nothing. It had no squawks on it. So at that point, it was finally, seeing the light. We're gonna make it to Oshkosh now. Weren't sure for a little bit, but.
I believe it says home of the world's most beautiful Super Cubs. It's probably debatable to some people, but it's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
Darin and I worked together since he was crawling around on the floor out here in diapers. I'm a perfectionist, he's beyond. Perfect is almost close enough for him. Well, I guess, I'll call the shots, he'll argue with me, and then we do it his way. The chance and the wherewithal to be able to purchase the aircraft and restore it to the like-new condition, and then just the total satisfaction of it to see it fly away just like it did in 1949. And, it means a lot when somebody says, "You did a nice job."